us, Emma, what's new?
Yeah, so WotC reveals the new Throne of Eldraine Brawl deck deets. And I believe that these are the first physical Brawl decks that they're doing. As a reminder, for those of you who don't know what Brawl is, it's a kind of like a standard format commander. So you have, as opposed to a commander deck, which is 100 cards, this is 60 cards. You only have one of each card. So what ends up happening in these Brawl decks is you have a lot more variety, a lot of cards that normally wouldn't see play.
I love Brawl decks.
Yeah,
I love them.
Super fun. I actually got to play them.
Ooh,
because Arena did an event a couple of days ago. I don't think we actually announced it on the stream, but for like 2 days. They put the Brawl decks on Arena, so you can actually play the new Throne of Eldraine cards.
I wish that we did announce it now.
Yes.
That sounds fun.
It was like there and then gone. I was kind of sad because when I saw this announcement, I wanted to go back through and remind myself, like, what were all the cards? Like, how did the different decks play? But I do have a few memories. I'm going to run down the decks real quick because there's a lot of fun stuff. The first really cool thing about these is they're all designed by people outside of Wizards of the Coast. So a lot of well-known players, competitive players, streamers. One of the people was a runner-up in the Great Designer Search, which is like...
And a local Seattle,
yes.
right? Yes.
Yeah, the Great Designer Search is like their almost reality show. It's not filmed.
Sure, okay.
But they send out tests. And like thousands of people across the country are like testing their Magic knowledge, and then there's like a design off. So they have this competition on a regular basis to get new designers because they want to find like the people in the country who are most passionate,
passionate about it. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's great.
Yeah. So first up, we have the Wild Bounty deck. This was designed by Emma Handy, who you probably know, who is a pretty well-known competitive Magic player, writes for Star City Games, and possibly a streamer as well. I'd have to double check on that, but they definitely do competitive play. Wild Bounty is a Bant deck, so that's blue, green, white. It's a Druid deck, Tulane, Teller of Tales. So as I was playing with this and talking with other people playing this deck, they were saying this is potentially the overpowered one. Because whenever you cast a creature spell, again, for how this works is you have Tulane out, you'll have your commander, not exactly commander, but your main creature will always be castable, so it'll be in a separate part of your hand. And it does its effects like a normal creature when it goes out in the battlefield, but then if it dies, it comes back, and you can cast it for more mana. Anyways, when this is on the field, when you cast a creature spell, draw a card, and you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. This is card draw, this is ramp, this is everything that a blue-green-white deck would want.
Isn't this just like a ramp deck? Like just spell, mana, hey.
Big stuff.
Yeah, and big monsters.
I've only did 5 turns, and now I summon a level 10.
Yes, exactly.
Neat.
Literally, yes. You have described it
supposed
perfectly.
to work,
So it's really fun, exciting. One of the things I will say, they're really doing a great job with commander decks and also the Brawl decks to, I don't want to say solve problems. I want to say, because traditionally card draw and mana can make games non-games, right? If you don't draw enough mana, if you don't draw enough cards, if you get the wrong part of your deck. So they're really working here with the commanders to have creatures constantly so you won't get stuck on the game, and it'll be more about your balanced skill. So I really appreciate that. For the next one, a local Seattle player who broadcasts for Card Kingdom, Henry Davis, designed Savage Hunger Jund. This is black, green, red. It's a dragon deck. Corvold the Fey-Cursed King. So you sacrifice stuff. So when Corvold comes out and attacks, you're just killing your creatures left and right.
So you buff.
Yeah, so you got a lot of frontline dorks to just get rid of. Like, sorry, man. It's your time.
Just like, oh, you're a little 1/1. You've done a great job, but now you're dead.
Now you're dying for the cause.
Yeah. This one gets huge, and you also draw cards.
Oh, this one's the one there's actually the Saddle people. I'm confused.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Third deck we have is by Jeremy Geist, which is funny because a Geist is a Magic card as well. So it's funny that it has the name. Anyways, it was a runner-up in the Great Designer Search, and they actually reached out to Jeremy and tapped them for this job, which is super cool because even if you don't win the Designer Search, you can still get to do stuff with Magic. This one is Fairy Schemes, Esper, white, blue, black. This one has Alela, Artful Provocateur, as the head of this deck, who makes your flyers bigger and pumps out fairies.
So is this like what do you want? Yeah. I mean, like anything that says this pumps out fairies, I'm like, oh, I'm in. Yeah, here's my money.
Who also flyers and they get bigger.
This one does like they buff the like low level characters until they're like.
Yep, it's not counters, so it's not permanent buffs, but they get +1. So instead of swinging in, they do twice as much damage.
Okay.
Basically, every one of these little 1/1 flyers that you're throwing out.
Okay. Just throw fairies at it until it dies.
Yes, just throw a fairy at it.
I mean, that's really good life advice.
Right. If you're having a problem, just throw fairies at it, then eventually it will go away.
Yeah.
Last but not least is the Knight's Charge Mardu deck. This is white, red, black. All about knights and equipment.
This is my deck, man. Yes. This is where I'm at. This is totally me. Yep.
Mardu is very near and dear to my heart. So Sir Gwyn cares about equipped creatures. Again, draw cards when they attack, and equip knights for free.
Yep.
So if your knights out there, you throwing down your equipment. There's the hammer that came out recently that's like makes a creature +10/+10 or something crazy like that.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of fun stuff. There's a lot of variety in these decks. I will also mention that almost all of them have white in the deck, which Derek would snicker at.
Yeah.
I think.
Of course.
No, this one doesn't.
All but one of them.
All but one.
And I think white has been seen as kind of an underpowered color, and a lot of in the groups that I've been in, people kind of make fun of like, oh, there's not much interesting going on. So I'm excited to see them.
I love white. Let me tell you, like in Arena, I have a mono white deck.
Oh, nice.
It's a life gain deck that just crushes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
You
like, just keep getting stronger.
And it's just it's just like it is such a. But you're totally right. It is such a like people are like, oh, white, you play white, and I'm like, yeah, you want to play? Let's play.
I will deck you with my white deck. I love that. That's great. So these are, and because as we had mentioned recently, Brawl is also coming to Arena. So you will be able to make your own Brawl decks.
Love it.
I'll be interested to see if they actually give Arena player these decks. Like that would be kind of crazy because they're selling the paper copies, but they're giving when they're doing the new reset and the new cards come out, they'll give people new decks.
Sure.
Because that's an important part of Arena. It's if you're beginning, here's some decks, here's some cards. They do that. So I'll be interested to see if they do give these or other Brawl decks just to give people a taste, right? Get them into this format.
Yeah, I think that'd be really interesting, you know, and like I really like how in Arena, it seems like Wizards has been really bringing in the community.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's great to see different, you know, I've seen a lot of like different streamers who have designed events around them or have events designed around them, probably more like it. And it's really neat to see that, right? Because when it comes down to it, you know, Magic is about the players, you know, and the players make it. And so it's really interesting to see that. So I would hope that they do.
Yeah. So those are at the very least, could be available for purchase around when the Throne of Eldraine stuff comes out. And Brawl is a great format. It's a fun one, and now is a great time to get into it. So
absolutely. And if you, I know there's a lot of people out there. You know, at Gen Con this year, I had a conversation with someone that was like, "Oh, that's funny. We were walking by the Magic Learn to Play booth. And said, that's funny. Everyone knows how to play Magic." And I said, "You would, you know, right?" And I was like, "Actually, you wouldn't believe how many people who have been in the hobby for years and years and years that have never picked it up because, especially women, honestly, because it's not easy to get into. You know, and it seems very overwhelming to be like try and get into Magic as a hobby, and people just don't do it, right? And so I think Arena really crosses that divide.
Yes, I was going to say, Arena helped. Like, even I'm not very familiar with Magic. Like, I know Magic because my friends play it.
Sure.
And I'm just like, I've never really got into it because I got salty over Pokemon. That's a different story.
That's a story for another time.
It's a story for another time. But I just didn't really pick up until like it started to come out online.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this is cool. I got a little clip art telling me, hey, you want to go ahead and hit this guy with this because it's cool.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It makes it easy. It makes
cool.
it accessible. It does. You're not like walking into a situation where you're like going into a game store and there's this person who spent $200 on your deck, and you're just like, what do I do with this? And so if my point is if you've been curious about Magic, download Arena. It's free.
Yep.
It is.
It only costs your time and some minor computer space.
Yes.
Yes.
And because I used to teach Magic to people, new players, kids, all sorts of people getting into it when I was at Mox, and I played it for a while, kind of gotten used to it. And you sit down with something, and people are like, okay. So now I put this card down. It's like, can't do that yet. You need to get lands out. It's like, so I put all the lands out. You can only do one of those per turn. So everything, there's just so much that you don't realize that you've learned.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now I just say, like, get Arena. Like, if you want to learn how to play Magic, just get Arena.
And
It'll
then
be
come
so
back.
much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll teach you the nuances.
Yeah,
and you can level up from there. but
Absolutely.
It's a great starting
Absolutely.
point. All right.
So there's a holiday bundle coming out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the holiday bundle was announced. We had talked a little bit about the productization about Magic, and they're doing a lot of new stuff for Throne of Eldraine, including the potentially contentious collector boosters, because these are going to be the boosters that are $20 to $25.
Yes.
Like, will people be willing to drop that much money on them? Will they just like totally blow up? It's uncertain. However, as part of the holiday bundle, I think it's cool. Because this is something, at Mox we'd get a lot of people coming in, parents, friends, for me, for my friends, just like, I just buy you some booster packs, I guess. But this is a fancy way of doing that.
Absolutely. It's like one of those things where, like you were just saying, like, I have a friend that plays Magic. What can I buy them? And like right now the options are like, well, you can buy them this $20 card that they may or may not have, or may not be interested in, or a few booster packs. But this is a nicer way, right?
Are they in standard?
Right.
Are they more commander? So, but for
And
this,
the family members are like,
And these have foils.
and it's labeled holiday, so it'll
Yeah.
be very clear
Limited edition.
to people.
love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And
there's
so these packs usually, or at least for the booster for the bundles, they usually have a spin down dice. So dice are great. Dice are great in the first place. This one's oversized. It's oversized. It's
so
an
like
oversized life counter spin down dice.
Oh.
I like dice. I'm very excited.
Emma does like dice.
Yeah, because usually you have just the normal D20 sizes, which are fine and they're cool. These ones are going to be big.
They're like
big.
Obnoxious. So when you're like, oh, let me just tick up my life count, my life total.
So it's one of those, like
I'm not sure.
the pelting kind of dice, like you could pelt at somebody and just like
You could kill a man with this.
you could kill a man with these dice.
Right.
Just-
And that's another thing, it's just kind of different. It's within the realm of what people would enjoy, but putting a different spin on it. So I'm excited.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Well, moving on from Magic to a completely different topic.
Totally different.
Totally different. So prepared. Let's step on the clutch right now. Yep. And we're going to shift gears for a moment to talk about Monte Cook Games recently released a guide about consent in gaming.
Yes.
And it's been a little controversial. Is that right?
It has been a little
Tell
bit
us a bit more
controversial.
about that.
But first thing I'm going to say, you know what? Consent is awesome.
Consent is awesome.
Consent is so awesome. So I've played with this system before that Monte Cook Games, it's just like basically general social norms that we take for granted written down on paper.
Yeah.
That's just basically what it is. I know that there's some people like, making a fuss about it, but it is just like, hey, this is just guidelines so there's no misunderstanding and won't cause infighting later on is really what I see it.
Yeah.
So one of the big things is it's a 13 pages long, not very long, just like, you can sit down and read it within 30 minutes. Maybe even less than that if you really think about it. It's just basically like, hey, this is like what when you sit into a game, especially if you don't know the people, you're just at a throw together at your local gaming store.
Yeah, at a convention.
And you just go through these like set rules and you have this card with either an X or a circle on it. Circle meaning, okay, we can keep doing this topic. I am okay with this. And if everybody has a circle, then they're good. X means no, I don't want to go down this path. This makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Can we move on to a different
So
subject?
I'm sorry, just to clarify really quick, because I have not been through the guide. It includes these cards, or
Oh
can
no,
you
no!
explain
You can just make them.
Oh,
It
okay,
just
you make
it's
these. Okay.
guidelines. They're like, this is easy for people to
Okay,
understand.
okay, so it's just
kind
a
of thing.
guide saying, check it out. This is something you can do.
Yeah, this is something you
Okay.
can do to implement in your games. You don't have to do all of it, but it's just something to make it more comfortable for people, especially like, maybe you have kids in the game
Yep.
and you want to go ahead and sit down and like one of the other rules is like you have a checklist for RPG people or like people who are coming in playing games. Like, hey, I don't want to talk about murder. I don't want sexual situations
Yep.
that make me feel uncomfortable. Or like, no torture scenes. Like it's just, it's about consent and getting people's approval. Another thing is like you can have words like no-go words and go-go words. So like you don't have to do the card system. You can be like, you can say pineapple, meaning I don't want this to be discussed.
Yeah.
Can we move on to a different subject? So that's pretty much it. It's just
The safe word.
Yeah,
the,
safe
uni-
word,
the,
exactly, yeah.
the universal safe word.
oh yeah, that is
pineapple.
actually pineapple.
Something you would normally say in the course of the game, so
Yeah.
you can distinguish it from other things.
Yeah, it's to distinguish it and to give clear guidelines because, not everybody wants to get into these torture scenes. Not everybody wants to get into adult subjects. And it does make it it makes it much more comfortable and you can relax knowing that, hey, everybody knows the rules.
Yeah.
And especially for people who may be coming in because, gaming, like people who game and people who do role playing, I have a lot of like social awkwardness.
Yes.
And some people don't necessarily know like the general acceptable rules of like our current culture. And so this is just like, bam, there is a list of things that you can say and not say kind of thing.
And I think the important thing to point out is these aren't rules. I think part of the controversy comes is like, you're telling me how to play the game.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everyone, this is just opening up the space for you to decide collectively as a group how you're going to play. It's just having the conversation. And there's a lot of systems. There's the X's, there's lines and veils, there's all sorts of different things. If you don't like a particular system, you can like write notes like anonymously at the beginning of the game. And then the reveal the things, you can call out, you can have a discussion.
Yep.
There's a million different ways to approach this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe some of the controversy is coming from like, well, me and my friends know how to play it. Like you were saying, it's not rules. It's not something like you need to implement this. And you know what? Chances are, if you're playing with your friends, you know what subjects are okay and not. And the thing is say like at your friends group, you've got an Iraq war veteran with PTSD, and you know not to bring certain subjects up around him. Well, the thing is at conventions, at board game stores, you don't know that. You don't know that at all, right? And so it gives people the opportunity to have a great time together without making someone feel uncomfortable or bad or even
or shameful. Even
exactly,
in fact.
shameful. And most of the time in these situations, I think that. Like you said, people feel a little ashamed, right? And they don't bring it up. They don't bring it up that they feel uncomfortable. They just deal with it. They internalize it, and they go off later.
Well, that's something you said. You're like, oh, in your own friend group, you probably know the person who has PTSD, but this is a point for you too. Like maybe you've never had those conversations. Maybe people are looking back and saying like, oh, well, I just want to talk about anything. And maybe people in your groups are uncomfortable and they've just never been able to bring it up or talk about it. So I think that's important too, if you've never had that discussion.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So it's just an easy way to, make sure everyone's having a good time, right?
Yeah. It's just basic, be a decent human being at a table guidelines.
Yeah.
It's not rules like you cannot play if you don't do these. It's like, hey, reasonable rules, consent is awesome.
And you had mentioned social norms.
Yeah.
Like in a normal conversation, like the magic circle of the game kind of sometimes can allow for certain people and certain personalities to get away with things. It's like, would you have that conversation at a dinner party? Would you sit down next to someone and start detailing your sexual exploits? Like, that's
Probably
kind of
not.
breaking a
I mean, it
social
depends on
norm.
the dinner.
Right.
It
Right,
depends on
but-
the dinner, I guess.
But you should have consent if you're going to have that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if you would, the person would be, they could get up and leave. Because that's the thing about the magic circle of a game. You're not supposed to get up and leave.
Exactly,
Like
you're kinda stuck.
opting into this. If you
Right.
get up and leave, it breaks the game. So
Right.
there need to be ways that people can express themselves within the magic circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
awesome.
Cool.
Strong
All right.
feelings about this
All the
topic.
Well,
feelings.
yeah, I mean, and I like I said, I think the frustration, is people coming from like their own personal experiences, right? And like, this is not something I need. How are you going to tell me how to play?
Yes.
And I think that's like everyone's opinion is valuable, honestly,
Yes.
except for Nazis. But it's just like if this is not something for you and your group, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the frustration is coming from, and the controversy is coming from. I don't even want to call it controversy. I think it's just people are confused about what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Confusion, I would agree.
And what we don't understand. We
Scares us, and then they
yeah, exactly.
I say, like, again, your game group, do what you want to do. If
Yeah.
you're going to go to a convention, if you're going to go in a public space, if you're going to join someone else's game, then be ready to play with these things, because this is how we, as a hobby and as an industry and society,
In a bigger society, right?
yeah, in a bigger society, yeah.
have chosen to run these things to make sure that everyone is welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it could be a war veteran, it could be someone who suffered from abuse, and like, you just don't know these things, and it's really makes it a lot easier to welcome in everyone at the table.
And
right?
also you could have like games where the parents bringing in his like or his or her like child into the game, and so there's like, hey, let's not.
Actually, and that's a good point,
Yeah.
Bonsai, is from the other side of that, is if you've got a parent who's bringing in maybe their 13 or 14-year-old, and you say there's going to be violence in this, is this okay? Then that allows the parent to say yes.
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 Yeah, we're good with that. I let my teen watch rated R movies, whatever it is, like, this is fine, this is an acceptable way. And so then as a GM, to structure your adventure in a way that's appropriate and fun for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
All right.
And I guess, are we doing another 180?
And
Well-
Dracus says saves me from a few awkward situations, right? So
Yeah.
it just kind of like, it just saves you, right?
saves
like
you
just
That's the
from-
thing. That's the perfect. I love that comment, because that's the thing too. You say it in the beginning, so you don't go there, and you don't have to be halfway through your campaign with this whole thing you planned out, and someone's like, or someone just shuts down, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
just like they don't like the game or whatever.
Yeah,
and you
they-
don't know. It's like,
they
oh,
stop
that's just that
talking.
topic,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, I do like that. Thank you, chat. You're being very awesome and positive
love
and
it.
accepting.
Aren't they always? Like,
Yeah, our
Tabletopes-
chat's great.
Well, yeah, no, our chat is great. I'm just
Love you
also
guys.
affirming that I'm glad that you guys like this system,
thank
because
you.
I played it
Yeah.
before, and it got me out of weird situations as well.
Right. Like, it's just
Yeah.
it just seems like such an easy way to be like,
Yeah.
oh, let's not
Yeah.
do this,
And do
or
we mention it's
let's
free?
do this.
Oh yeah, it's free.
I forget there. You can just go
free. You
just-
online, get
just
the links from
download
it.
it.
Just download it. Just download it.
Again, it only
Just do
requires
it.
a small amount of your time and computer space.
Yes. Time. I have to spend time. That's a money unit of action.
There.
There. But yeah.
All right. Well, again, great system. Really glad it's available. Thank you, Monte Cook Games, for taking the time
Thank
to
you.
write it out. Recognizing there's a
Yes.
problem, and
Yeah.
it's awesome that you're doing it for free. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
that.
Appreciate it.
Let's go ahead and push in the clutch again.
Yes.
Oh God.
It's
More controversy.
I know. So we are gonna move on to Ms. Monopoly. Is that
Ms.
right?
Monopoly, yes.
Yeah, so that's pretty
okay,
cool.
So I don't know if you guys been around the internet for the past week.
So I haven't actually. We were just talking
Yes.
about this before the stream. It's like I'm kind of checked out.
Monopoly
Yeah.
just released, mostly on Twitter, so that's a thing you can
Oh,
look
sure.
forward to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That they're going to do a girl-powered Monopoly game, which basically switches the roles somehow and makes it so the women get more pay and the men get less pay, and it's trying to switch gender swaps.
Yeah,
but
swap gender norms.
It's the thing I have about this, the problem I have with this is that I'm not too sure if either Monopoly is out of touch with its audience or they're doing the rage commercialism.
Intentionally trying to
make
stir up
people.
the pot. Yeah.
Because I didn't really see Monopoly as a gender-specific game.
Right.
You're just
right.
There was no named characters before this, except for
Right.
Mr. Monopoly, the money banks.
yeah.
It was kind of just circles, right?
Yeah,
Almost
he's
not
just-
really-
like it's just this figure.
Yeah, he's
Right.
just a figure that's
Just
walking
like-
around with money. Like, you know, the Hamburglar or something with money.
Yeah, also, so mechanically how this works
Yes.
is that women who play the game literally get more money.
Yes.
So if you are a woman playing this game, you collect more around go and you start with more money.
Yes.
So if we're gonna get into this,
Yeah.
so go ahead
Yeah.
and like let's just keep the clutch in, everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what feminism is about.
No, it's not. No, it's not at all. It's
I feel like feminism is about equality
Yeah.
and equanimity.
Yeah.
Not I'm gonna stomp on you and be better.
Nope.
Right.
And so
Nope.
this feels, like you said, a little out of touch, a little like, and maybe intentionally they're, like you said, they're trying
they're
to like
in the
stir
rage.
the pot. Like, what would it feel like
Yeah.
if this was the norm in our society? Because we get so caught up, I guess, in
Yeah.
the norm that like men simply make more money than women, and it's getting better.
Yeah, it
right.
is, it is.
But yeah, just flipping it on its head and saying, what if women make more money than men? Of course, it's going to make some people angry.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes
Like,
me
duh.
angry
Like,
because
yeah.
like I don't want to make more just because of my gender.
Right.
That's
That's
silly.
not the goal of feminism.
You know, and so
Yeah.
it's just kind of it's an interesting choice. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put it that way.
It is. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. I don't know if they're out of touch or necessarily doing this rage culture because they
Like
release
satire?
like satire. I don't know. I feel it's a little patronizing, just my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
it
some of
feels
the
not good.
it doesn't feel good. It,
doesn't
makes
feel
me feel
good.
geeky. So, like for example, they did Monopoly for millennials. They
Yep.
did Monopoly for
The
socialism.
socialism one that blew up recently.
So-
I didn't even
that's
hear about
why-
this. So
Yeah, there's
if you
just
guys,
like
I know
a
you guys,
rage,
it's been a long
rage,
time
rage.
since I've been on Tabletakes,
Yeah.
but I just came back from an extended vacation.
In Bali.
In Bali.
well,
I didn't
it's
want to
not-
rub it in, but like I disconnected and like I have no idea what's happening.
To be
Yeah.
clear, extended vacation and educational.
Yeah,
like,
educational retreat.
It was.
yeah, you
but
worked really hard. Okay, it wasn't
I did.
just
I
sitting on
did.
the beach.
It was not just sitting on the beach. It was.
Yeah.
It was actually only one day of sitting on the beach, but
You learned
Yeah.
a new language too.
kind of a little bit. But like, what?
Yeah.
Monopoly
Yeah.
socialism?
Yeah, Monopoly
Yeah.
socialism. It's stuff like you don't get money from pass and go. You take it from the community pot, and like the
Yeah.
government has to subsidize you. It's pretty offensive.
How?
It's not how any of this works.
So that's why I'm saying that it's the whole product just feels a little bit more like, you ever heard the term pink washing or green washing? That's what it kind of feels like, to cash in the quote unquote
Sure.
pro feminism, even though this is not
right, but
not
that's the thing.
pro-feminism.
Like
It's
again, this is
not
the
feminist.
audience. Like
Yeah.
this doesn't make me
Like,
want to buy it.
Yeah.
honestly,
like,
I can understand.
3 out of 3 feminists say this is not.
This is not This is not a
Feminism.
feminism. No, I can even on like. I can turn from an example. I can understand the rage of this game because if I was like for example, like yeah, for real, if I learned that I'm just getting paid less because in the game that's an in-game mechanic,
That's stupid.
I'm just like,
stupid.
what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
This is like you know.
Mechanically, not particularly sound.
Yeah, but so
Right.
this is not just rage on one end; it's rage from both sides because we're like, no, this is not what we wanted. This is not.
Why
no.
would you do this?
Why would you
Yeah.
do this? So it's kind of like, yeah, it's. I don't know. That's why I said it's
Yeah.
very. I want to just like believe in the goodness of people and think that maybe they're just out of touch, but at the same time, maybe they just hired the same person that does the Wendy's and the Jack in Box.
The social media, yeah,
The
they're
social media, like the whole.
It's what's in now, right?
The
like
in
they
is
got
to
a
be
think tank,
mean.
and they're like, okay, we're gonna whatever you think of, we're gonna release it. Like we want crazy Monopoly pushing the boundaries.
Here's the thing too, is that we were talking about this a little bit before the stream.
Yeah.
Is one of the reasons why I personally have disconnected from Twitter is that Twitter is geared towards up-leveling conversations that have a lot of drama and outrage
Yeah.
and negativity in them.
Yeah.
That's literally, period, end
Yep.
of story, how Twitter works. right? And so this is definitely a marketing strategy, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone is talking about this right now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
No one is buying it. That's fine.
I mean, I don't know. Is there the reason why they're doing this so much? Are people actually buying it just for rage?
I think with the socialism one, but it sold out or something because people are just like, haha, look, or they're gonna send it. They're like, oh, this is funny, you know.
Yeah,
Well, I imagine they're probably not. They're probably making limited. So stepping back into a marketing role, which is where I've been for the past 10 years of my career, right? Like stepping back and stepping away from like the goodness of my heart and into like the traditional way people think of marketing, right? Which
marketing
is
part.
Money only.
Easy marketing is like
So you have your white deck and this is
exactly,
your...
and I'm switching over to my black deck of marketing. This is a way to generate conversation.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about this right now.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking about it. People, even, there's, I'm sure everyone's heard of, there's a phrase in PR and marketing called all PR is good PR.
Yeah.
Right? Regardless of if people are saying crappy things about you or if people are saying great things about you, people are talking about you. I personally don't subscribe to that. I don't think that's great. I'm not into that. However, some companies are, right? And it works for them. So I'm curious if this is more of a bizarre PR tactic, kind of what you were saying in terms of social media, like just stirring up the pot, or if it's legitimately like, we've got game ideas.
All right, and then just taking from
Take
chat.
off the filter.
Yeah, so for some taking from chat, there it says one person's quote unquote drama is another person's fight for survival. There are ways to do things that are positive, that don't just start a hate culture, that takes away from the actual issues. That's the thing. There is time for outrage. Like, for example, like things that are happening in Hong Kong right now. There are points for outrage, but we're not going to go into that because that's, lots of touchy subjects. But at the same time, too much outrage belittles what the real point is.
Yes.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that's what we're trying to go through. It's not like Twitter is necessarily bad. It's not that internet is mostly bad. It's just that sometimes there are too much and it takes away from what is. Like, for example, the Monopoly thing. Like, they're like, oh, this is for feminists, this is for empowering women, yeah. And then we're like, no.
This doesn't actually do that.
This is hurting people. This is actually making it so, like, people who are of the male persuasion blame, like, oh, this is it's us to fight against. They're causing a war where there doesn't need to be a war.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm a strong believer that games can touch on these subjects. We've talked about this in the past,
absolutely.
about historical games. I think video games and also board games more and more, Holding On is a great example, like digging into these subjects, treating them, using play and the magic circle as an environment in which you can explore complicated, difficult subjects. It doesn't necessarily have to be like laughing, it doesn't have to be fun. Like, there's a cornucopia of emotions you can explore in gameplay.
Absolutely.
This isn't the way. So
Yeah,
they can do
right.
it sensitively. They
Yeah,
can do it in
absolutely.
such a way where, because it's such a well-known brand, they could do it in a way that surfaced these things and made people think.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. And coming down to it, just angrily tweeting all day is not going to do anything. Like it might, it causes a lot of negative energy to be spread. And I think our energy is better spent, doing positive things about this, doing positive things in our community, talking like this with one another. This is a community, right? This is a community where we're talking about it, and we're talking about it in positive ways. We're having a real discussion rather than feeding into the machine of Twitter. Like I said, Twitter is not bad. But the more I think we can have better conversations within our local and larger communities, I think the more we can enact change. And like you said, there are different ways to approach these subjects that aren't just ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, for example, I like to give for an example of a positive way to do something like that, like Lego. What Lego did for their girl line or their feminine line, like that isn't necessarily, because I grew up playing with Lego.
Yeah,
I didn't
same.
see that there was like a gender
Yeah.
bias.
Yeah.
But like think of this about the grandmas or grandpas or the older generation that say, okay, building is for boys, like, and not for girls. This introduces that to some people who still have that like gender box in their head, and it goes, okay, so I can go ahead and get this because it is
Pink.
pink.
Yeah,
But
the Lego pack, yeah.
the Lego pack.
I mean, I do love pink. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
But for like more traditionally feminine themes, like
Yeah.
the sets are someone who subscribes to traditional gender norms would look at this and say like, oh, this makes sense for my granddaughter or niece or
sure.
Yeah.
whatever it is, and then purchase that. And then that is, it's not saying like you can't play with either one, but it can be a way for, people to understand the product.
Yeah, and Draca says if they wanted a game to empower female gamers, maybe they should consider making a new game to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the question comes from, right?
Yeah.
Is like, is this supposed to be empowering?
Right.
'Cause
No, it doesn't make people like that's like another person brought in Detroit. Anybody who's playing this game doesn't feel better for playing
Right.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's
Yeah.
the real thing. Like, do you feel better for playing this? I feel like if I did try playing, I'd feel very greasy.
I feel gross.
Yeah.
I'd feel gross. And,
And
if
then
you walk away going, ee.
Having a negative feeling can make something, bring it to light.
Sure.
Make people
Sure.
understand the experience
Sure.
better. But most people know this is a thing,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone knows the stats and the data about it. So it's like, do we
Yeah.
really
So I don't. So here's Kristen's hot take on this.
hot take.
Is that I don't think this is a real game. I mean, obviously it's a real game and like you can play it physically.
Yeah.
But I think it's a marketing tactic.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
That's
Yeah.
enough of that.
We got
Okay,
through
we're
it.
done.
Mostly smooth sailing.
We're
for
done.
Mostly smooth sailing.
We're done
Okay.
with
All the hard
controversy.
topics.
We're
Guess what though?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Clutch in.
Do you guys want to know? There's bundles to think about now.
That's true.
Ooh,
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's. Today's bundle boss. Christian isn't here, as you notice. You only get Kristen today, which
Kristen.
is like
Yeah.
Christian, but with like 3 less letters.
Yeah.
Yes.
More efficient.
And I am not as good of a bundle boss as Bonsai is, so we're
Oh.
gonna say Bonsai the bundle boss.
Bonsai
today.
the bundle
Love that
boss.
alliteration.
All that. It's B.
So tell us about bundles.
So I'm gonna
Bundle
have
us.
Trog, right? That's how you pronounce it?
Torg.
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 I'm not dyslexic.
There was also a trog on here, but
Torg.
It doesn't matter what
Eternity.
it's called. We're gonna put a link in chat. No, it's
So
fine.
it's basically Torg is
You got
a new addition to the possibility wargaming table. So if you wanted to go ahead and have a cinematic style role-playing game where all of the different dimensions in every world you can ever think of is going to come and attack Earth, this is your game. Kind of like Rifts, not really like Rifts. Hey, I mentioned Rifts.
yes, that's for you, Christian.
Put it
that's
on
for
the
you.
scoreboard.
Yeah.
Check. But yeah, it's everything. So the first tier is like $9.95. So you get everything you need to defend the Earth core from invading the cosmos. You get the near future setting rules, and then you assume the rules of Storm Knight. You know, you are these knights that are protecting the realm from all the chaos that is coming.
Dragons, Terminators, aliens.
Yeah. Oh
whatever.
my. Yes. Dragons. Tyranns.
Ms. Monopoly.
So it comes with characters.
You like that throwback?
Gosh darn.
Yeah.
Good job. High five. But it comes with character sheets, journals, and also a very nice GM screen for that. And that's just like $10, guys. And if you want to go ahead and upgrade that to $21, you get the Day 1 adventure book. So this is basically, it starts your campaign. You don't have to put much thinking process. You're just like, boom,
cool.
here's a campaign setting, start your game, have fun. And it also, it comes with opening minutes of possible wars, scenarios, collections from Delphine Mission, The Rising Storms, and
You got this. I believe in you.
gosh darn words,
Do it.
atmospheric soundtrack. Ooh,
Nice.
thank you. Words are hard. Did you guys
It's
know
okay.
that?
It's okay.
And all
Need an air
this, you guys want, this is a digital bundle that you can download because it's going to be a charity organization going to Rainforest Trust, which basically takes
please.
care of the rainforest. So
And their
Seattle.
Rainforest Trust is doing a lot of work down the Amazon right now. So if that's something that you've seen, speaking of social media, you've seen on social media, you want to do something about, well, you can help that cause while also getting a really cool new game. And I love actually the $20 level, the bonus collection, because as I'm getting older, in RPGs, if they've pre-made something for me, I am into it. I'm like, yes, get me started.
Yeah.
I like 21-year-old me was like, no, I want like I'm more in like 21-year-old
come
me.
up with a lore.
Dude, I was like, I am into D&D 4th edition. Like I wanted to like tweak every single
Were you
piece.
a mid-maxer?
Totally.
Oh,
Yes.
see that.
Yes,
I see
absolutely. But now I'm just like, can I just have a pre-made character?
just give me a pre-gen.
And then you can go from there if you
Yeah,
like it, because
absolutely.
there's
If
so
you
many
really like it.
systems
Yeah,
now too that it
absolutely.
super helps to have something. And
Yeah.
Bonzo, you were likening this to The Strange?
Oh yes, like if you ever played The Strange, which is a game by Monte Cook Games. I played it before, and pretty much you are adventurer, or like you are from Earth, and then you find out that everything you can ever imagine dimension-wise actually exists in a different parallel space, and you go in and invade them to stop the nothingness is really what it is. It's the nothingness.
Yeah,
The nothingness is
so like
attacking.
never ending story.
Yeah, it's like the end story.
What was a TV show in the 90s? Sliders? Is it kind of like that?
I don't know.
You're too young. It's okay.
Interdimensional. I lived in the forest. We had like 3 channels.
Maybe
I watched
Jack,
Star
maybe,
Trek.
maybe,
That
maybe
was-
Jack can help me out with that. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was Sliders where they went to different dimensions.
It sounds correct.
and-
Yeah.
It sounds perfect.
Either different
yeah.
dimensions or different times.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
But
something
yeah,
like
it's
that,
so
yeah.
like so the strange is you go out to fight them.
Yeah.
So you are actually the invaders going
Right.
out to all these dimensions. This one is they are the invaders, and you're like on Earth, and you're like, oh God, Terminators, oh God, dragons, Care Bears, no,
They're-
evil Care Bears.
evil
Wait.
Care Bears.
If they're evil, how could they care?
They care about evil.
Yeah, they care about evil.
Yeah, they just lay on you and hug you, but there's too many of them and you
And
can't
they
breathe.
like
and-
suffocate
Oh,
you.
is it like the
Suffocate
bees in
with love.
Japan? Did you hear about
Wait,
this?
what?
The bees
Oh,
in
the-
Japan, they like developed a tactic because Japanese wasps are like terrifying. They're like yay big.
Oh yeah, I've heard of the.
So the bees, what they do is they swarm on the wasp because they can handle higher temperatures than the wasp, and they just wiggle on top of them until they burn them inside to death.
Neat.
This is true. Yeah, wiggle.
You heard it here on Tabletapes.
You can just nature. You just pile on something and wiggle on them until they die of heat exhaustion.
All right, and that's bundles.
That's bundles, guys.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bonsai, for telling us about. So that's cool. That's a cool bundle of holding. I appreciate that it benefits Rainforest Trust
Yes.
because as your friendly local neighborhood crunchy vegetarian yogi person, I'm into saving the earth and the rainforest and climate change and all that stuff. So thank you for this. I appreciate this.
Yeah, so also
get on it. Yeah.
get this game to save the trees and to fight interdimensional horrible beasties.
Maybe
Tree-
fight
tree
the trees.
creatures.
Fight tree creatures.
Trees.
Evil.
Yeah.
You can do
Evil,
both.
evil
tree
tree
creatures.
creatures.
can
But
do
save the
both.
good trees.
But save the good trees.
Yeah. Okay. Put that collection. We're heading on over to Kickstarter. So we've got a few Kickstarters to talk about today. We only have 15 minutes left. We are ending our stream at noon today. We're ending on time. This is what I've decided. We are ending on time, but don't forget to stick
Kristen's in
around.
charge,
I know,
Captain.
like we're doing
Captain, my
this.
captain. Captain, my captain.
Yes, we did it.
We did it.
Don't forget, we have new release rundown on after this, so we are sticking to schedule today. No more, I guess maybe you love listening to us for 2 hours on a Friday, but that's not how it's going to happen today. So Emma's going to talk to, who's coming today? Is it Blue Highway Games?
Zulu's game.
Excuse me, I am so sorry. So Zulu's game is going to come to us to talk to Emma specifically about the new games that are coming out. So, but for now, let's talk about the Kickstarters that are ending and hopefully coming out in the next year or so, because there are some really interesting ones. Emma, you've got the first one here. Talk to us about Half Truth.
Half Truth. So this game made me a little sad.
Oh.
In a good way, though.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like happy sad. So I was actually, because they, a lot of these people are local or have ties to Seattle. So apparently they were like videoing and testing it in Seattle. And one of my friends from Card Game was like, hey, you want to come and hang out and play this game and hang out with Richard Garfield and Ken Jennings? I
You're
was
like,
like,
yes, I
Yes.
do.
it's during Gen Con.
Oh. I'm sorry.
So I did not get to play this game and hang out with Richard Garfield and Ken Jennings, but maybe next time.
It looked fun.
So anyways,
Yeah.
what's really cool about this, Ken Jennings, oh what?
Really?
What? Oh, is it?
Oh, chat.
We got the no consent card to
For the
bees
bees.
and wasps.
No bees!
Sorry, you're
That's
right.
all right.
That
Sorry,
was bad.
we're
That was
good.
bad.
That's-
Our bad.
we will-
Sorry.
yeah.
Apologies for that.
Not go any farther into that topic. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
thank you for
Thank
speaking
you
up.
for speaking up.
Speaking the truth. Speaking your truth there.
All right, sorry.
All right,
So it was
back
during
to-
Gen Con,
yeah.
and you were like, no.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to go to this thing.
But
But it still seems like a very cool game. So Ken Jennings was the Jeopardy winner. Who
Yeah.
won like a
Yep.
bunch.
He
of
won a
Jeopardy.
bunch of Jeopardy. He knows
Yeah.
stuff.
he does know stuff.
And Richard Garfield, of course. I don't want to say invented magic, because there was a lot of people involved. In the early days, it was Wizards of the Coast, but one of the
Prolific game
premier
designer.
designers, Keyforge, and a lot of other things as well. So they were working together on this game, trivia game. Usually, I would totally not be down for that, and I prefer not to have games that have outside knowledge. But what's cool about this is they give you the question, like animals with blue tongues. There's 6 possible answers, 3 right and 3 wrong, and you place bets on the right answers.
Oh, that's
So it's
neat.
not a trivia game where you need to know the answers, like Trivial Pursuit, right?
Yeah.
You're like, this is a question about baseball, and I'm just like, okay,
Yeah, so, all right, guys.
Yeah.
See you in
Great.
3
So
hours.
basically, you could win if you're a good enough bullshitter.
yes.
Yes.
Great.
And what's really cool about this is it's a game, most trivia games make you feel like an idiot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Unless you are actually really smart. But for these
Ken
ones,
Jennings.
their tagline is "We're all smarter than we think."
Yeah.
So you find out
Aw,
that
I
you
love that.
you know more than you thought you knew.
That's
so,
great.
Oh, I like
yeah.
it.
So that only has 6 days left. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep.
It has 6 days left.
Okay,
I
cool.
realized too, we usually do these in order from shortest to longest. We didn't do that, so
Whoops.
that's okay.
Keep
though.
the clutch in.
Just keep the clutch in. This is crazy. Women have taken over. It's a mess. Chaos.
Our hormones.
Our hormones.
So
All
tell
right.
us this next one to disarm the base.
Disarm the base, yeah,
Only
'cause this
has
one has
4
4 hours left. Yeah. So you see, this is keeping people on their toes, right?
Right,
Like
we
6
got
days,
this.
4 hours.
Got to pay attention this time.
So this one's a cooperative game about disarming warplanes, and I really appreciated the aesthetic, the theme of this. There's a lot of war games out there. There's a whole category of games titled war gaming.
And it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of nebulous, right?
Yeah.
But,
I hear that they have an award for award games.
For historic games.
Historic
and
games.
historic war games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
So and I think there's space for lots of different types of games. Wargaming lends itself to traditional gaming because there's well-known rules, combat, you can roll dice. So I just like the fact that this is about not war, anti-war. Like you're literally disarming. Your goal is to disarm the planes, and you win if you disarm them and fly your flags, being like, war sucks.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it says in our notes here, we have a direct quote from the Kickstarter. It says, inside this base, planes are being armed with deadly weapons. Tomorrow morning, they will fly halfway around the world to bomb civilians. Innocent people are dying, yet the press continues to turn a blind eye. Our actions will shine a spotlight on this hidden horror.
Ooh.
That's really fun, right? That's really fun. Recently, another Kickstarter board game, capital K, board game I've been playing
Kickstarter.
is called U-Boat. And it's not quite this way. Like you are a submarine crew, and you're going to go sink ships during World War II. But it is a cooperative game, and boy, shit happens. Like it's an automatic. So it's integrated with an app, and
Nice.
the app will automatically be like, "There's a fire on deck 4,"
Oh.
and then you, as a crew, have to figure out you're like me. I'm playing as the engineer, and so it's pretty much my responsibility to go take care of it. But at the same time, I have 2 dudes, and they're repairing the toilet. That's gonna take another hour of game time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this other dude is having a smoke, and he needs the smoke to recover his health or whatever. And I'm
Right.
like, you guys,
You're not recovering your health.
So,
Just stretch
yeah.
I
it out.
love cooperative board games
Yeah.
that have an element of I don't know, like urgency to them.
Yeah.
You know, and like you're doing something together, and not just like, okay, we're gonna explore this haunted house. You know, like,
It makes me feel of
All right.
Space. Like
Oh,
the
Space
card
Base,
game and
yeah.
the digital game as well.
Yeah.
That just like tension, working
I
together.
love
But
that.
it's like,
I'm into that.
And Don't Starve. Lots of Don't Starve. And,
Yeah.
Oxygen Not Included. That's the one that's Oxygen Not Included.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
definitely check that out.
Yeah. 4 hours left. Moving on, we got
I know.
about 2 minutes for each of these.
I know,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
I'm gonna talk about Usagi Yojimbo really quick. So, growing up in the 90s, you might have heard about Usagi Yojimbo. He is a badass rabbit samurai. I don't know a whole lot about it. I just remember just being like, oh man, that's a really cool manga.
Yeah.
You know? But if that's something you're into, then you definitely know about it. They're actually coming out with a tabletop role-playing game. So a tabletop role-playing game. I said it all out. Like it's
Tabletop
an
role-playing
RPG.
game.
And it's the second edition of this game. So it's 2 days left on it. If you know Usagi Yojimbo, you know about it. And it's the third RPG set in the comic book world of Usagi, and then with the anthropomorphic animals, right? So if you like films in the vein of Yojimbo, or like we were talking about earlier, spaghetti westerns, it combines fantasy creatures and critters with westerns, and so it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Check it out if you can. Like I said, it only has 2 more days.
2 more.
It features 13 playbooks. So
Wow.
all 13 are pretty heavily combat themed. So if you are into that kind of play style, if you want to play a Western RPG with Usagi Yojimbo, this is the game for you. So go ahead and check out that link.
Yep, it's powered by the Apocalypse. So if you're a fan of
Apocalypse.
that system, then
Get on it.
Get on it. All right, next game, Scarlet Knight. It is an app game. I found it interesting because it comes with an app, a soundtrack. It's like randomly generated. The app will go ahead and generate the game for you. It's got 6 days left, 1 to 5 stealth horror game, co-op or competitive, depending on how you want to play. You're just basically, it's an 80s teen slasher. You go in there and there's a haunted motel and you have to find keys and you use your smartphone. It has
I love it.
It has lights and soundtracks that you can play
Sounds very
during the
scary.
play.
Yeah.
So
Oh
like
my gosh.
lights and different things will come on at different times, and there's like little microchips in the furniture pieces.
Ooh.
So you have to use your phone to tap
I'm
it.
stressed out just talking about this.
You
Like,
have
I
to-
love it. I'm gonna buy
I'm
it.
Yeah, you have to
This
touch
stuff.
the
It's
touch.
so
I'm so scared.
Yeah, so everything is random. Your house order,
Oh, I
everything
love
is controlled
that.
by an AI on your phone, or you
Oh,
can do
it's
it
got
with,
the NFC, the
Yeah.
near field
yeah,
technology.
the neurofield, the
Cool,
near field
that's
tech
sick.
community. So you can go ahead and you have to look for the keys, and you have to go to the furniture and scan it to see whether or not there's a key in there, and then it'll be like dun dun or ding ding. You know, you found the key. So
You're
everything
like, there's a
is
murderer in there, you're dead.
yeah, you're dead kind of thing. Like the lights change.
plays a little
In the
tune.
teapot. Like, is
Yeah.
in the teapot? Murder. Like, arm comes out with a knife.
So I just, all the, to be very, like, honestly, I just really like it for the tech aspect
Yeah,
of
yeah.
using your
Cool.
smartphone and then like having ambiance, having sound and stuff. So that's 6 days left. And then, despite of having all of these tech components, it's largely very transparent. The app is completely hands-off. The whole thing is just you have it, you start your game, and then when you need to scan something, you just take your phone, scan it, and voila. And then things will happen because it monitors where your player is on the board. So if you're going to get
Okay.
shanked by the monster, it will just go,
already knows.
It already
Yeah.
knows you're
Yeah.
going to get shanked by the
You
monster.
did.
You did.
That's awesome.
So,
Wow, I love that. That's super fun.
Yes.
I love it. I'm into it.
6 days left.
6 days
I'm into
left.
it.
All
So
right.
that's Scarlet, what is it called? Scarlet
Knight.
Knight. And then now the next one is Numenera Liminal, blah, 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 blah,
You got this.
Liminal Shores.
You did it.
It has 6 hours left. Woo! This one is from the Numenera system. It's a cipher system, sci-fi or science fantasy setting in the 9th world. So this is just an expansion pack for Numenera. So the whole idea of Numenera, it's an RPG game where you go ahead and it's billion years in Earth's history, Earth's future, and you have all these various different sauces. It's called the 9th world because 9 times society has been brought down to Stone Age and restarted. Civilization has restarted 9 times, so that's why it's the 9 world. The expansion pack, you get Voices of the Datasphere. It's a source adventure book. Where you go into something like the Matrix, kind of like Shadowrun, and you gotta, there's these alien artifacts in this data sphere. And to expand on that is the Liminal Shore, which is basically a new land that you can only discover in the digital verse.
Ooh, neat.
Fun.
Okay.
So then you can just find out new creatures and about the worlds that came before, because all the data of all the past civilizations are hidden in this data bank. And then the last one is Edge of the Sun, which is hey, it's already been 1 billion years, the sun has not blown up in our face. Why is that? And also apparently Mercury is gone. What's going on? Let's figure out what happened to the planets. So that it's just future.
Yeah.
You want
Numenera seems so cool. I have not gotten into it, admittedly, because there's just so much. I'm like, it's so beautiful and it looks so rad. It's too much.
Yes, too much.
Doesn't have that easy starter guide.
No, I need the easy starter guide, man. That's
or
what I'm telling.
maybe it does.
Well,
just haven't-
maybe, I haven't discovered it yet, so definitely check it out.
Yeah, I really do like the Cypher system. It's very easy to play. It's more story-based kind of role-playing games.
Yeah.
So if you want more story-based versus number crunching, this is probably the system you want to go ahead and check out.
6
6
hours.
hours.
6
Wait,
hours.
Before we leave, Queens of Adventure's Legendary Journey.
Yes.
Whoa.
Queens
Shout that out.
of Adventure.
Yeah,
Okay,
go,
2
go.
days left. Hey, do you guys like drag and Dungeons and Dragons? Well, here's your thing.
Dungeon
They're very
Dragons
Dungeon
and Dragons.
Drags. Dungeon and Dragons.
I love it.
On the road.
On the road. So this is a local Seattle group. They do D&D podcast, and they take drag queens and basically let them role play to their heart's content.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
And so now they're taking it on the road to not just to Seattle. You now can have drag in San Francisco.
Oh my gosh, and these are live shows. They
in LA.
podcast and they perform the live shows Seattle, San Francisco, and
Oh,
LA. So
that's
they have that
fun.
here.
Yeah,
We can
they
watch
have that here. Yeah,
Oh,
you can
check
watch
out.
it.
Let's go do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go do that. All
So
right.
it's all
Sorry,
fun.
guys. I know you don't live in Seattle.
Sorry,
But if
but
you
yeah.
live in San Francisco
people
or
do.
LA,
Yeah.
you're in luck.
So they already basically crushed their basic goal, but the more money you pay to this Kickstarter basically allows them to produce higher quality and more shows.
Love it.
So I like
That's
supporting, especially if it's like D&D and it's bringing it to a different type of culture set.
Yeah.
Sure.
And in a different type of way of people who normally play D&D.
Yeah.
And it just adds
That's
a little
fun.
flavor.
That is so much fun.
Yeah.
Cool. All
gonna
right.
check that out.
So that's
Yes.
Queen of Adventures. That's 2 days left. So if that sounds interesting to you, or if that's even if you're not in the cities but you want to back it because it sounds like an interesting concept, I think it helps them, like you said, bring more quality podcasts so you can still listen to it, right?
Yeah,
So,
you can still listen to it. They have podcasts, and I believe they also videotape some of their shows for their higher tier
oh,
patrons.
that's
and stuff.
awesome.
So-
I love that. Yeah, let's go to a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go check that out.
Let's go
All right.
see Dungeons and Dragons.
I love it. And you can make a song for them.
Dragons.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Like I said, it is noon. Noon our time anyway. So it's
Yeah.
noon Seattle time.
Efficient.
It is time.
Efficient.
I'm efficient. Like,
Captain, my captain, you're the best captain in ship.
our fearless leader here.
fearless
Muscle
leader.
Master, I believe, is.
Oh, yeah,
right?
the Muscle
Master.
We still need to
Forgot
do that
about
RPG.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you have some time, definitely stick around. We're going to be setting up new release rundown, and Emma is going to be talking to
Zulu.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Wow, I am having a hard time today. Talking with Zulu Games about what came out over the past week and a half.
Yeah-ish.
Yeah, ish.
And new stuff that's come to retail. So sometimes
Right.
stuff will be kickstarted and new to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what if you have not watched New Release Rundown before, what I love about that show specifically is it's not just like, here's a list of the things that came out, and and people get a little I think a little rundown from things always coming out, right? But
overwhelmed.
Right, but what I love about this show is that most of the time you guys talk about why you would like this game.
Yeah.
Like if you like this game, if you like X game, Y game, Z game, then you will probably like this game as well. So it's also a great gift buying guide for family and friends. If people are Christmas shopping right now, man. Like it is.
Oh,
it is.
wait, no, Halloween first. Halloween first.
Well, so
People in my family get it out of the way super
exactly.
early.
Yeah, like just get it done because prices go up. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with the mess. Anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a great gift buying guide as well for that gamer in your life. Maybe it's your partner. Maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it is your coworker. So this is a great way.
Or put it on your wish list.
Or put it on your own wish list for upcoming holidays, whichever you celebrate, birthday, Christmas, whatever it is. It's a good game, or it's a good show to get that figured out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you for joining in on our conversation. I know we had a lot of touchy topics today,
We did.
but
We poked a lot of.
I think we had a good conversation about it, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys so much for talking with us about it. Thank you for giving us your opinions. Love to hear it. And like I said, this is our community, and I think by doing little things, we can make it better and more positive, right?
Yeah.
We can start spreading positive energy, right? And like I said, I'm your local crunchy yogi, so this is what I'm all about. So this is how we're going to end the show today on love and positivity.
Love
and go out and have a wonderful rest of your Friday. If you cannot stick around, thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.